Hi friends, welcome to Beautifully Bookish Bethany. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my reading plans for January 2024. It is almost the end of December. The year is almost over, y'all. And it is time to do my TBR for the first month of the year. If you don't know, this is the second year that I'm bringing back the Get Shit Done Readathon for patrons and channel members, which has been really fun. And so I have a TBR associated with that. I've got some book club books. I've got some books for review, just kind of a variety of things. As always, these TBRs are a little bit fluid. I will probably get to many of these. I may not get to all of them, but this will give you a good idea of the things that are going to be on my radar for the month and some of the books I'm definitely reading for book clubs. So let's start there. For my patron and member book club, every month we have a different theme and patrons have the chance to vote on the book that they would like us to read. For January, I pulled some booktuber friends and asked them to send me one of their favorite books of 2023, and those all went into a poll for people to vote on. And the winning book of those was one of Mara's favorite books of the year, Clockwork Boys by T. Kingfisher. I don't actually know exactly what this is about. I do know that I have generally enjoyed reading things from T. Kingfisher. I also know I have several patrons who are huge fans of T. Kingfisher and are looking forward to this, so we are planning on reading this. And then Mara has graciously agreed to come hang out with us for book club at the end of the month to talk about it, so that'll be really fun. So that's our book club pick for the month. Then every month some of my higher tier patrons have the chance to suggest and vote on books that they want to see exclusive reading vlogs from me on. This can be pretty much anything they want. The book that won for January was The Vanished Birds by Simone Jimenez, and I am excited to read this. This is an author who I know Angela from Literature Science Alliance really loves, and I know she really liked this as kind of a literary sci-fi type book. I don't know a lot of details, but I am excited to check it out, so I'll be doing a reading vlog for that for patrons in January and eligible channel members. Then the final book club read is for Blades and Bodice Rippers book club. We're going to be over on Leanna's channel for January, and the book that she picked was Hexwood by Diana Wynne Jones. And I think our Blades and Bodice Rippers book club theme for the year was 2020 forward. So we're doing things that have like sci-fi elements in some way. This is hard to find in the US, but I pretty easily found an inexpensive copy from the UK. So I believe it's YA. All I did was ask you for a role-playing game. You never warned me I'd be pitched into it for real. And I asked you for hobbits on a grail quest. Not one hobbit have I seen. Something about Hexwood Estate, and I don't know. I really don't know what to expect. I've never read from Diana Wynne Jones though, and this seems like a good opportunity. So me, Leanna, Mara, and Amanda from the Naughty Librarian will be over on Leanna's channel at the end of January to discuss Hexwood, which should be fun. Then I've got some books on my TBR for the Get Shit Done Readathon, and they respond to some of the prompts for the readathon. I'm not going to go into all of that, but I am going to tell you some of the books that I'm going to be reading. 3 of these are on my challenge TBRs for 2024. First, we have Misrule by Heather Walter. This is for my series finisher TBR for 2024, and this is the second book in a duology that is a queer retelling of Sleeping Beauty from the villain's perspective. Then on my classics TBR for the year is The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. This is a modern fantasy classic that I have not yet read, and I don't even really know what it's about other than obviously the titular unicorn, but I know people really love it and I've been meaning to read it, so hopefully we're going to try to do it in January. And then lastly, from my nonfiction TBR, I have Slouching Towards Bethlehem by Joan Didion, which is this cute little copy of, I think, essays. I have not read from her and I would like to, so that's on the TBR as well. Then I've got some other things that are not on my 2024 challenge TBRs but are on my readathon TBR. Ghost Squad by Clarabella Ortega. This looks really fun. I've been wanting to read it for a while. It is middle grade paranormal kind of fantasy where they're like paranormal investigators, I think. I hear that this is great for friendship and found family, Latine inspired. Looks good. And then a couple of advanced copies. I have The Truth of the Aleke by Moses Ose Utomi. This goes on sale in March. It is a novella from Tor.com, and it is the second novella in a series. I read book one. I liked it. It's kind of like a fable mythology type thing that is African inspired. And then lastly, An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson, which comes out in February. I am so excited for this. It is dark academia and sapphic with vampires. Yes, please, thank you. Sounds wonderful. A few other physical books that I would maybe like to get to in January if I don't get to them before. The Reformatory by Tananarive Due. I had pre-ordered a copy of this and I've been meaning to read it. So if I don't get to it by the end of December, I would like to maybe pick this up in January. It is historical horror that is drawing on real history set in the Jim Crow era South at a boys' reform school. I've heard it's great. I also want to read For Never and Always by Helena Greer. This is a holiday romance that is queer with a plus-size heroine, and I think this will be really fun. I am waiting to get the audiobook from my library, so I might listen to it that way. Come and Get It by Kylie Reed. This is coming out in January, and I got an early copy at an event. This is from the author of Such a Fun Age, which was amazing. This is her second novel, a fresh and provocative story about a young woman and her messy entanglement with a professor and 3 unruly students. It sounds really interesting. It says it's a intimate portrait of desire, consumption, and reckless abandon, a tension-filled story about money, indiscretion, and bad behavior. I'm interested. Also coming out in January is Red by Annie Carty. I was supposed to read this in December. I don't think I'm going to get to it by the end of the month. It's been kind of a wild month for me, but I do want to read this. It's a YA novel that is dealing with abortion rights and religious conservatism, which sounds of interest to me. And then coming out in February, I've got an early copy of Tender Beasts by Lizelle Sambury, who I am mutuals with, but also I really, really love her books. This is her latest YA kind of horror thriller book about siblings. Those are all of the physical books going on my TBR for January. I do also have some digital books from NetGalley that I'm hoping to get to. First up is The Princess Protection Program by Alex London. This looks adorable. It is middle grade fantasy that kind of puts a feminist twist on fairy tales, and I think this will be fun. At First Spite by Olivia Dade, who I also love. She is one of my favorite authors who does plus-size romance with really fantastic representation and diversity, and also sometimes has queer characters. Very excited to read this. It's the first in a new series from her. I don't know a ton of what to expect. I think it's a new series. Whatever it is, the cover looks great. I feel like it's going to be awesome. I really vibe with her sense of humor. The way she approaches romance works for me. Looking forward to this, and I do have it pre-ordered, of course. The Cursed Rose by Leslie Vedder. I think this is the last book in the series, but I don't know for sure. I think it's a trilogy. This has been really fun. It's like Indiana Jones meets a gender flip Sleeping Beauty retelling, but queer, and lots of friendships and adventure. It's a really, really good time, and I'm looking forward to book 3. Then I have Who We Are in Real Life by Victoria Coops. This I think is indie or coming from a small press, but it just looked really good. It says fans of Rainbow Rowell and Casey McQuiston will fall for this story of tabletop gaming, romance, and epic campaigns, both in game and IRL. So this is a queer contemporary geeky romance. It sounds right up my alley. I'm very excited to try it out. I've never read from this author before. I don't know if it's a debut, but it caught my eye, so I want to read that. And then finally, we have These Deadly Prophecies by Andrea Tang, and I may start this month. I don't know. We'll see how the end of the month looks for me, but this looks really fun. It's kind of a genre blend. A teenage sorcerer's apprentice must solve her boss's murder in order to prove her innocence in this twisty, magic-infused murder mystery, perfect for fans of Knives Out and the Inheritance games. That sounds like a blast. So a lot of really great books on the TBR for January. I'm hoping to start off the year strong and read some awesome books, but also I may not get to all of these just because January tends to be a really intense month for me in terms of content creation because I'm doing all of the end of year stuff. So it's going to be a busy month, but I've got a lot of books I'm excited to pick up during the month. And so those are some of the things I'm planning to read. Talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know any of your thoughts or feelings on anything I talked about in this video. And for question of the day, let me know how you plan to start 2024 in terms of your reading. Are there things that you want to get to right away? What do you plan to do? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, it always helps if you give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.